You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
My name is Sheikh Abu Abdullah, President Chairman of Al-Masjid Sharia Law, a non-profit religious organization operating in the state of Rhode Island, USA. I come to you again, speaking to you about the problems we're having today. Not 40 years ago, 100 years ago, but the problem we're having today is really stretching us out. We got brothers fulfilling the prophecies of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he said we'd be fighting each other, killing each other in the street, and we're doing all that. The so-called Mu'mins and the so-called Muslims are doing just that. We must control ourselves and begin to do what we're supposed to do. They asked him, when he said that, they said, well, how does it stop? And he said, when you stop it. And what do you mean by that? When we, the people that's involved in it, stop it. We, the Muslims that's here on earth, stop it. We, the Muslims and Mu'mins that are following Islam, stop it. Not something coming out of paradise or heaven or whatever you want to call it, or the hellfire, but coming straight from us Muslims, because we're the ones that are supposed to be tending the Islam here on earth. I don't know what's going to happen. I know what we must do. I know how we must do it. But I don't know what's going to happen. Only Allah knows that. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I tell you this, you Mu'mins, you Muslims must begin to stand up for what you say you believe in, Islam, and follow it. You cannot believe anything if you're not going to protect it. That's the truth. You're not going to believe in anything if you cannot protect it or don't want to protect it. Then you're not a believer. If you're following something and somebody wants to take it away from you and you believe in it, you must turn around and defend it the best way you know how. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us to defend this with what they did, that they tried to take it away from us with, except disbelief. And that's what we must do. We must stand up now and begin to speak on the radios, the TVs, the newspapers, everywhere we can, the mosques, the so-called masjids, the Beit al-Masalis, the hallways, the tea shops, the coffee shops, everywhere we can, the gym, every place we can, we must speak against the things that is happening to us. We must speak against the hypocrites and the disbelievers, regardless of who they are. If a hypocrite is your mother, you must speak against your mother. If a hypocrite is your father, you must speak against your father. If your father is a hypocrite, you must turn your back on that hypocrite and speak against him, because the law has already made plans for that person. I'm sorry to get down on you like that, but this is the way it must be done. We must do that constantly. A lot of you receive letters from me. In the beginning of the letter, I put a statement that Allah gave to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, strive against the hypocrites and the disbelievers. Harshly strive against the hypocrites and the disbelievers. And this is the order that he gave to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Now, if we can't follow that order as well, because he told us to emulate him, to emulate the Prophet Muhammad. Not only to follow, emulate. Do what he's doing. And we must do that. So I'm sorry to come down on you like that, but this is what must be done. There's many people that speaking Islam and speaking the Quran and the Hadiths. Speaking the Quran, some Hadiths. The Hadiths was acknowledged by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ as being acceptable. At first he didn't want a Hadith, but then he changed his mind. That Bilal and all of them, Bilal and them demanded that this be done because it would be a way of keeping his deen. So he did it. I'm asking you now to pick up the Hadith, to pick up the Quran, to read the footnotes, to read all that, because it's important that you understand what you're reading and what's being told to you. It's not righteous that you turn around and set yourself on fire and blow yourself up to kill somebody. I know where this stuff comes from, but it's not righteous to do that. And you got to stop that. It is not righteous to turn yourself on your brother when he was already elected. And those that are trying to bring forth Islam, it's not righteous that you stand up against them and you confess to be a Muslim. If you're going out there worrying about a job, worrying about being Dr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, Professor so-and-so, Supervisor so-and-so, and all this other stuff, and spending 19 hours trying to make money, and 3 hours trying to keep it, and the rest of the hours trying to sleep, and then a few minutes trying to pray, then you're not following Islam. Islam is just a secondary thing with you, because it's got a secondary spot. If it had the first spot, it'd be the first thing you do. And you obey it. The law says, don't mess with these people. You're messing with them every day. Don't gather with these people. You gather with them every day. Don't hug these people like they're your brothers and sisters, because they're not. So I advise you to go ahead and follow your deen. And this is what you must start to follow. Some of you are not going to do it. I agree. I know that. But some of you must do it. You must begin to do it. You must begin to turn around. If it's a masjid that's so corrupted with it, then don't go there to that masjid. Go to a tent outside the masjid. Go to a field somewhere and pray. It's better to pray in a field commended and accepted for Allah than to pray in a field that's accepted for the devil. And this is what we must do. We can't keep doing this, what we want to do, what we desire to do. Because like it's written, when desires into the hearts of a believer, so does Shaitan. So does Shaitan. Shaitan jumps into that. And then when he starts to get caught, first thing he runs away with you, run away faster than you. And when you ask him, why are you leaving? He says, I didn't tell you I was God. I didn't tell you I had more power than you. You accepted what I did, what I told you. You accepted it. Now I want you to, now I'm telling you all this, and I want you to understand that this is important for you to follow. Not follow me, follow what is written in Quran and Hadith. I'm not asking you to follow me. I'm asking you to follow what is written in the Quran and the Hadith. I'm not asking you to obey me. I'm asking you to obey Allah and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. This is what I'm asking you to obey before anybody or anything else. Look at me. Look at me. I'm sitting here with the tube in my nose. And I'm striving to try to get this message out to you. It's not easy to do this. I'm sitting up here and I'm not talking about how sick I am, I'm talking about what we need. as Muslims, what we must do as Muslims. And I have cancer in the lungs and cancer in the stomach and all cancered up. And I emphysema and everything else. But look at me. I'm here with you. I'm here trying to tell you, why you think the Lord's keeping me like this? Let you know, let you hear it. How many brothers and stuff on the TV, you know, that's talking like this? This is where we must begin to start. Brothers talking like this. Brothers listening, brothers dictate, brothers putting their TV back in their homes. You need your TV, you need your computer, but control your computer. You throw the TV out because the TV got one thing on it. You'd be surprised what the computer's got on it. They got real dirt on it. I advise you now, I advise you and I advise myself to practice the deen of Allah. This ummah is one ummah, and what affects one brother in Chicago affects another brother in New York. What affects a brother in Detroit affects a brother in Connecticut. What affects a brother in Saudi Arabia affects a brother in the Sudan. This is one brotherhood, and we must live this and dream it and everything else. We must feel this thing, because without that, we'd have no power. A people divided cannot stand. That's what I just said. A people divided cannot stand. They have no power to stand together. They have no string holding them together. They have no glue holding them together. They have no binding holding them together. So we must bind ourselves together, not separate ourselves with I'm Sunni and I'm Shia and I'm this and I'm that. And I belong to this and I belong to that. You don't belong to this, you don't belong to that. I'm Sufi and I'm this and I'm that. You gotta separate yourself, you gotta stop separating yourself like that. You gotta stop separating yourself from your deen. That's what you're doing. You're separating yourselves. I advise you not to do that. Excuse me. You just got yourself separated. I advise you not to do that. I advise you to become, what the law makes you to become, a brotherhood. A brotherhood with the head following just as much as the tail, with the feet following just as much as the knees, with the hands following just as much as the elbow, all of it following each other, and the same following. The only reason you have a head is that you have somebody supposed to be organized to keep the deen pure. And have one place to come through. You don't have a head to change anything. There's nothing in the Quran on how these are supposed to be changed. You don't have that authority to do that. Allah said, this day I have completed your deen, your way of life. And it is Islam. And you would be called Muslims. Now I completed your deen. And it is called this and that. And you would be called this and that. Sunnis and Christians and all the rest of it. He didn't say that. And you must deal that way. You must stop trying to get your way of life to be compatible with the Christian, or compatible with the Jew, or compatible with the Buddhist. Because they're not trying to be compatible with you, but you're trying to be compatible with them to survive in the world they're in, to take part in this democracies, to take part in the same so-called balance of powers and all that, the same money-making deals. You must begin to do what you must do. And it cannot be done as if you're going to go ahead and separate yourself from the deen. And this is what I'm trying to say to you. But you seem to not be listening to me. And some of you listening, or some of you accepting what some of you tuned into what I'm saying. I can see by the count of how many people call me, how many people are looking at my program on the net. It doesn't only go out to Rhode Island and parts of Connecticut, parts of Massachusetts. It goes out on the net, on the internet, around the world. It goes out around the world on the internet. You can hear what I'm saying around the world. It might not be in the language of the people around the world because I don't have the finance to do it in the language of the people around the world, which I wish I did. As a matter of fact, those that see and hear what I'm saying, and those that call themselves believers in Islam, and what I'm saying about Islam and its people, they should be the one that fund me for the habit in English and Arabic and French and all them other names and all them other names of languages. Because I'm that beneficial to the Islam. But that should show you who is in favor of Islam. Who is a real believer in Islam? Let me give you, for instance, if there's a rope standing in the middle of coming down from a tree, and you guys jump and grab this rope to go across the path and swing across the rope. Those that believe will grab that rope without testing it and swing across that channel. But they believe the rope will not break. But those that have doubt in their hearts will look for every other way to get across that channel without using that rope. Or they just will not worry about getting across the channel. In fact, that's what they're doing right on this side, which is not for them to do. So it's all kinds of tests to show who is the believers and who is the frauds. Who are they giving their money to? Who are they funding? What are they funding? Are they funding anything that might bring a light on them? Or are they trying to keep the light off of them by funding those that are keeping the light off them? I'm asking you to look. I'm asking you to really look at it. I'm really telling you to look. It doesn't have to be one brother with $50 million give to another brother. It can be a bunch of ants, like the ants. Look at the ants and the bees. How they live. How they live as one group. and how they bring things together as one group for all. This is what you must do. You need 10,000 so-called dollars? Don't worry about one brother giving 10,000 so-called dollars. Worrying about the group of 10 people, 10,000 people giving $1, or 20 giving 50 cents. This is what you have to worry about. So let me explain that to you again. You can't, one brother's not going to give up all the money. He doesn't have it. Or if he has it, he's not going to give it up. A believer will give it up. What is the major things that we must follow? We must build up. One major thing we must build up is our deen, our Islam, our way of life. We must have the things in our way of life to take care of the people in our way of life. So this is what I mean by build up. If we have a brother in our way of life that is talking about everything other than the Islam, talking about all the other things in Islam, then why are we funding that brother? Or if his Islam is only to repeat a prayer, or repeat this or repeat that, and not trying to instruct us on how to use that prayer and have this, all that other stuff to build up our deen. Why are we funding that brother? We must look at that. We must realize, we must always remember that. This is how we must balance ourselves to what we must give. What does it benefit? Who's benefiting us by what they're saying? Who's speaking the most truth in what they're saying? Who is saying the things that are needed in the deen? Or needed at the time? A brother's giving you a lecture in Islam, and another brother's giving you a class in Islam to develop the things you need, then which one do you go to? You try to go to both of them if the one is giving you a lecture of Islam about Islam, but you don't go there as much as you do to the one that's giving you knowledge to build Islam. I want you to understand that. It's very important to understand these things. And you cannot make laws up as you want to make them up in Islam. If it doesn't suit your desires, you cannot change it to suit your desires. And that's what brothers are trying to do today. You got a group of brothers today that's out there trying to form a Christian Islamic way of life. Why I say Christian Islamic way of life? It's because they're trying to say separation of state and religion. The religion must be separated from the state. This is what happened in Egypt, and this is what's going on in Egypt. Egypt people are not voting because of the Islam, are not living because of the Islam, are not living within the laws of the Islam. They're living in the laws of a desire of democracy. And that's not right. It never should have been that way in the beginning. It never should have got that way in the beginning. It should always be underneath Islam. If the majority of the state is 95% Muslim, then 95% of that Muslim population should be following Quran and Hadith. If it's 65% Muslim, it should be following Quran and Hadith. That's the way we use democracy. Because we're Muslims. And we should follow the laws that binds our Muslims to us, Islam to us. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. Not standing there hollering and screaming and busting firecrackers and all that with the non-believer, with the hypocrites, with the Christian, with the Jew, and with everybody else against a brother that's trying to bring Islam into a state that need it. The biggest income in Saudi and Egypt, do you know what it is? Going to visit the graves of the Egyptians, of the people of Egypt, the non-believing Egyptians, the pagan Egyptians. This is what they're going to see. This is the biggest money-making thing in Egypt. So what Egypt got to do is open up factories, open up plants, open up places to do business, to make things, to develop things, Islamically. Take some of that donation money and put it into factories. Take some of that money that one brother makes to become rich, part of that money, borrow it, and put it into factories. Develop things. Develop economics of their community. This is what you must do. So there's no getting away from it. You must do these things. So I advise you to get these things done, and this is what you must do. I look at the thing that's going on in Egypt as wrong. I don't care what you look at. I look at it as wrong. I look at it as a democratic process that has been developed through democracy. Yes, I'm an American citizen, born in America. I'm not talking against America. I'm not talking against my country. I'm talking against democracy, which is a part of my country's way of living. I don't agree with democracy. I'm not saying that I don't obey it. I obey what other laws are here in the United States, just like I would if I obeyed the laws if I was in Japan or Turkey. I'm in that country, I gotta obey the laws of the country. I was in the Army here in the United States. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, ar-Rahmanir Rahim, maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim, ghayril maghdubi alaihim, wala-d-dallin, amin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Sadaqallahul azim.